On the vast savannah, the lion walks like a silent king. Without the need to boast, each of its steps fills the air with tension. In the light of dawn and the shadows of dusk, this great cat appears not only as a predator, but as a symbol of strength and instinct. Nothing compares to the ferocity of battles between lions. On the barren savannah, where the wind mingles with the dust of grass, the echoes of a clash have lasted nearly 3 hours. 3 full-grown male lions savagely charged at the intruder. A young lion whose eyes still carried a glimmer of hope despite a body covered in wounds. Again and again, the 3 rulers returned, carrying with them the shadow of fate. The young lion, though exhausted, let out a hoarse roar, as if trying to hold on to every last breath. Strangely enough, from afar came the heavy footsteps of elephants and the quiet presence of hippos by the water's edge, as though they were trying to delay destiny for the weak. When the 3 dominant lions returned for the final time, the battle ended in heavy silence. For them, it was power and the assertion of territory. For the young one, it was a courageous journey, though defeated. It remained complete in the meaning of life. One disastrous misstep led the leopard straight into the lion's encirclement. The lionesses moved with a deadly grace, closing the gaps and forcing the leopard to brace itself for survival. It extended its claws, fending off with desperate swipes, yet the battle was entirely in favor of the Nitsavu pride. From every direction, relentless strikes rained down, turning the fight into a swift and overwhelming domination. Trapped in a shallow swamp, far from the safety of deeper waters, the crocodile suddenly became the target of a pride of lions. It thrashed violently, jaws snapping in fierce counterattacks, but the lion's tight coordination rendered every effort useless. The turning point came when Princess, a collared lioness under observation, suddenly leapt onto the reptile's back. With razor-sharp teeth, she sank her bite deep into its neck, pinning the crocodile down. Moments later, the full weight of the pride pressed upon it. In the tense struggle that followed, the crocodile finally succumbed to their overwhelming power. A lone hyena wandered into the sight of a fully grown male lion. No longer the chaos of an entire clan, but a tense one-on-one encounter. The lion moved slowly yet regally, each step closing in on a creature often regarded as one of the most stubborn rivals in the wild. The hyena growled, baring its sharp teeth, trying to maintain distance. But the lion's overwhelming power left it with few options. In just a few fleeting moments, the lion's roar drowned out the hyena's feeble resistance. At last, the cunning beast could fight no more. No scene on the savannah is more intense than the clash between lions and buffalo. A tightly coordinated pride had managed to isolate a calf from the herd's protective circle. The roars of lions mixed with the deep bellows of the buffalo, painting a picture of chaos and suffocating tension.
Push it again.
Then, in a sudden turn, the herd rallied. The adults charged forward with unyielding determination, intent on rescuing the young from the predator's jaws. Yet a lion's hunting instinct does not let go so easily. As the moment slipped away, they pressed on, relentlessly pursuing the calf. Each step closer, each strike more determined. In the end, the youth of the calf could not outlast the persistence of seasoned hunters. While a buffalo herd is usually a solid, united force, there are times when an individual strays too far. That is when cunning predators seize the opportunity. A lone buffalo, no longer shielded by the strength of the herd, became a free meal for the lions.
Then I guess it's finished.
Amid the low shrubs, a lioness lay in silent ambush, each step as light as air, her eyes locked onto an unsuspecting target. The warthog remained absorbed in its foraging, until the moment when the entire savannah seemed to hold its breath. Then, in a flash, the lioness sprang forth, shooting like an arrow from the bow. Her strike was precise before the prey's legs could even react. It was subdued. Silence settled once more, broken only by the steady, powerful breath of the victor. In the dim light of morning, the lions waited patiently. Before them stood an old termite mound, where a warthog had found refuge. Guided by its survival instinct, it hid deep in the darkness, hoping to escape the watchful eyes of predators. Three lions worked in perfect coordination. They were in no hurry, knowing that time always favored the patient. As one crouched low, reaching its paw into the crevice, the other two pulled with force. Dirt scattered, claws tore at the earth, and together the trio strained as if in a tug of war, determined to drag their prey from its hiding place. Two lions pinned down a wildebeest. Weighing nearly 500 pounds, the wildebeest thrashed wildly, its horns striking in furious resistance, each impact echoing across the dry plains. Yet against the strength of the two predators, it was gradually forced to the ground, its labored breaths breaking in fragments. On the cracked, dry plains, two grown wildebeests locked horns in a fierce battle. Their clash sent dust spiraling into the air, echoes of impact spreading across the land. Both poured every ounce of strength into the fight, unaware that a predator was closing in. From behind, a lioness crouched low, silently crawling through the golden grass. She waited with patience for the perfect moment. As the thunder of clashing horns filled the air, she struck, leaping suddenly, driving her weight into the flank of one wildebeest. Claws dug deep, jaws clamped tight around its throat. With each determined breath, she tightened her grip, pouring all her strength into the kill. In an instant, it was over. One wildebeest collapsed, while the other fled in panic across the open plain. A male kudu approached the water's edge, carrying enough weight to feed an entire pride of lions for days. Yet it was precisely this abundance that made it a target. Only an hour earlier, the lionesses and their pride had eaten their fill, but instinct still drove them to seize the opportunity. As the kudu lowered its head deep into the narrow trough, its vision obscured, it had only its ears to rely on. That was the moment the lioness had been waiting for. She remained still, letting the silence itself become a weapon, then struck in an instant. A swift and precise attack turned carelessness into a fatal mistake. Single-handedly bringing down the massive prey, the lioness secured a great reward for the entire pride. A zebra had just endured a harrowing encounter with a crocodile in the river. Before it could catch its breath, other predators appeared. In a heart-stopping moment, two lions seized the opportunity, leaping from their hiding spot to snatch the prey. At the edge of a waterhole, a lioness spotted a seemingly abandoned baby hippo. Its small, trembling legs made it an easy target. The lioness immediately lunged, sinking her teeth into the young one. Just a few hundred feet away, an adult female hippo heard faint cries. Weighing up to 3,000 pounds, she charged like a living wall. The lioness's carefully laid plans suddenly became fragile. Confronting a full-grown hippo is a high-risk choice, even for a top predator. Instinct forced the lioness to retreat, choosing survival over stubbornly holding onto a meal. In the quiet stillness of early morning, the lioness moved like a shadow. The pads of her feet barely touched the soft grass, making almost no sound. This ability made her the ninja of the wild, a master of stealthy approach. Ahead, an impala grazed, its ears flicking occasionally, but showing no real awareness. The lioness held her breath patiently, inching closer with each step. A perfectly timed leap allowed her to successfully capture her prey. From patient steps to decisive moments, this great cat reminds us of the delicate balance between opportunity and challenge. In the world of lions, every moment carries weight. It is calmness and perseverance that forge true strength. If this story resonates with you, leave a comment to share your thoughts. Hit like to spread it, share so your friends can experience it too, and subscribe to join us on the next journeys.